Let's go over more amazing upgrades, items and abilities in the Final Fantasy VII Remake that you can miss during your first playthrough, but that will help you a ton throughout the rest of the game and also during the endgame challenges. A like on the video would be super appreciated, and let's go. Having the very powerful upgraded limit break abilities will help you a ton during the later boss fights, but also in the hard difficulty that you unlock after you finish the game. And I also use them a ton in the very challenging VR missions that you can also do after the final chapter. So that's why it's really smart to go to the Coliseum in chapter 9 after you've been there for the main story, but also go to the arena again in chapter 14. You get this limit break level 2 from a very easy rank 1 mission where you just have to beat 5 rounds of wild animals, and those animals are like creatures you've already encountered before, so it's really not that hard. So totally do the challenge for Aerith and Cloud in chapter 9 when you've done the arena for the main story, and then in chapter 14 return to the arena and then you can do the same challenge with Tifa and Barret. And don't worry if you skipped the arena the first time around, you can always use the chapter select after you finish the game and then return to the Coliseum in chapter 9 for Aerith and Cloud, and then chapter 14 for Barret and Tifa. Although you can actually get the one for Cloud in chapter 14 as well, and he of course normally has a cross slash that is still pretty powerful, where he does like a few slashes that do deal a lot of damage, but his rank 2 one is called Ascension and it really focuses on one target, dealing way more damage and actually increasing the stagger as well in the process. So yes, this is an amazing option when fighting high health enemies that you especially encounter later on in the game, like some of the bosses and of course in the hard mode as well. Good to note, by the way, is that these level 2 limit breaks do cost more of the limit gauge. And you fill the limit gauge by taking damage, and the more damage you take, the more the bar fills, and also by staggering enemies, you can build up the bar. Although there is actually another way to fill that bar as well, a pretty powerful item that you can get relatively early in the game. I will touch on that in a second. I first want to go over the limit breaks for the other characters, like Aerith, who normally has this healing wind that restores a lot of health to all party members. So it's basically like a free heal that you can do without any ATB and MP. Her level 2 limit break though is called Planet's Protection. And this one is really insane. It namely creates a shield around all your party members that nullifies physical damage dealt. So you are basically untouchable for quite a long time, like it seems to be longer than 30 seconds. So then you can heal yourself again and cast spells without having to worry about incoming physical attacks. But yeah, you still gotta watch out for the magic abilities because they can still hit you and your party. And this limit break is especially insane in combination with that item that I again want to talk about in a second. So those two that we talked about are already available in chapter 9. In chapter 14 you can get limit break level 2 for Barret and Tifa. Barret normally has the fire in the whole limit break that creates this huge explosion on a target, but the rank 2 version is also pretty insane. Here Barret has these 2 lasers coming out of his cannon that deal some damage over time. Like really a lot of damage over time, and it should increase the stagger of the enemy as well. And by the way, good to note is that I'm showcasing the rank 2 limit breaks on hard mode during a 5-star challenge, while the level 1 limit breaks are showcased on the normal difficulty in a 4-star challenge. So yes, these level 2 limit breaks are wrecking house in this hard mode. And you can, by the way, change between the limit breaks by going to the battle settings in the menu, and here you can also select shortcuts for your most used abilities. For Tifa, you really see the difference between the 2 limit breaks. She normally does the somersault, where she does this powerful double kick, while the level 2 Dolphin Flurry is way crazier. Here she first starts with some kicks, then follows up with this tornado and a lot of damage over time. And then you see that this hard mode enemy still has quite a lot of HP left, but Tifa is not finished yet, and then does this insane uppercut that finishes the enemy off. Like, this might be the most powerful target nuke limit break that there is. Way better than the somersault in my opinion. So again, totally get these limit break level 2 options at the Wall Market Arena. But before that, in Chapter 9, we got a Whack a Box minigame in Chapter 8. And maybe you already did this once for the side mission that unlocks after helping the children a couple of times. Like first you have to find them all in Sector 5. And then help them out with their Toad King problem. And after you dealt with that, you can participate in this pretty fun mini challenge. And if you actually get the high score, then you will find an amazing spectral cogwheel item that fills the limit gauge after consuming MP. So it will be really great with characters like Aerith, who you will mostly use to cast spells anyways, and she of course also has the Soul Drain ability that lets her steal MP from the enemies. So you can basically keep spamming your spells as long as you have ATB, and then fill your limit gauge in the meantime too. It's pretty nuts because having her limit break active as much as possible will really help you a ton during harder encounters, especially if those enemies are mostly melee focused. So you need to get the high score in the Whack a Box minigame for this, and it's actually not that hard if you know some smart tactics. First of all, holding the square to get this sort of circle slash is really great to easily break the 150 point boxes and just hit them in a wider radius. And you only want to look out for the boxes with the clock on it because they give you 10 extra seconds, and there's one very close to the start on your right hand side. If you follow this path here, you can break more boxes there, but it's actually smarter to just continue with the main path. For the 1500 boxes, I used the triple slash that I have as a shortcut on L1 and square. So you can easily do it without having to navigate to the command menu all the time. And again, you can select that via the battle settings. 2 triple slashes should be enough to break these 1500 boxes, at least that was the case for me. And you should have enough ATB by wrecking the other boxes. When you enter this room, you will find one of those time boxes on your left hand side that you also want to break. Totally use the triple slash again on the 2 1500 boxes, like stand in the middle, so you actually hit them both with the ability, and then you just have to do the ability 2 times to break them both. Same goes for the 2 other 1500 boxes that you see a little later. And I go full Punisher mode on this pyramid because that of course deals a little more damage. And then I still did those 50 point boxes, although it might have been smarter to like immediately go to the 2 1500 boxes close by. Position yourself so you can also hit them both at the same time with the triple slash. And then bam, you got a high enough score. I still had some time left and in the end was able to go to 41,000. And I'm curious, like totally let me know your score in the comments down below. And then bam, you got this amazing item for Aerith. Also interesting is that by doing this activity over and over again, you will always get a Moogle medal that you can of course spend in that Moogle store close by, so they can basically buy all the nice skill point upgrades and other items if you just farm the medals via this challenge. So not bad at all. And thanks to Master Desnuts for sharing this in a comment under my recent video. And of course, if you have tips and tricks or things you found, let me know in the comments under this video as well. I also quickly want to talk about a very good materia that you can get at the start of Chapter 9. Like, you can miss it, but it's not that hard to miss, because you will see it when moving the hands around. So drop Aerith down there and she will pick up this Magnify materia that you have to link to a certain spell in the materia slots. And when you then cast that spell, it will also go to nearby other enemies, so deal damage to them as well. Although they do take less damage than the first target, something you can enhance by leveling the materia up. What is awesome is that it also works with Cure, for example, so then you just cast it on yourself and have party members get health back too. But it also works with spells like Haste, and it just casts the regular MP while you still give it to everyone. It's pretty insane. You have to select one materia though that you want to enhance, and that is the only one that has this effect during the fight. And as far as I know, there's no other way to get this materia Although, of course, if you found it somewhere else, let me know in the comments down below, so then I can maybe share it in the next video and shout you out, of course, as well. And if you, by the way, do not want the special effect that this materia gives for a certain moment, then you can always remove it during combat by pressing L1. So yes, totally get and use this materia if you haven't already. I want to make a best materia video, likely too, highlighting the best ones you can find in the game and also where to get them. So totally subscribe for that and just way more Final Fantasy VII Remake videos. A like on the video would be super appreciated. And totally check my previous video on all the weapons in the game and how to not miss them. For now though, I will speak to you next time and goodbye.